Hello, everybody. Welcome into the Charlton Chronicles. Actually, Amber's not here this evening. She wasn't at the game on Saturday, and she wasn't feeling particularly great. So I am going to step in again. Hope that's okay with everybody. I am joined by my good friend Paul Davenport, my good friend Paul Bowen, and my good friend Kieran. How are we all doing this evening?
Good.
Yeah,
Good.
good after yesterday's win.
Yeah. Buzz off of that, and then had an early night. Woke up at 4 to watch the F1. My driver was out before the race even started, so it's been a bit of a long day. But happy to be talking about football.
That's not suck F1. I don't understand it. I don't get it. I don't get why. I don't get why you want to watch cars going around in a circle.
You can vaguely see in the background. You can see my racing wheel over there. I spend an awful lot of time driving F1 cars on a simulator.
Kieran's really. Shall we move to the?
Sorry.
Sport of the day. Sport of the day.
Sport of the day. Football. Let's go.
Exactly that. That's a big win on Saturday afternoon. A game that I don't know if anybody else felt this, and I'll come around and ask about your opinions on the game, of course, but. That atmosphere was really on a knife edge. I thought it was sort of tipping point, could go either way. There was a bit of a strange sort of thing. I thought if we can see, God, this place is going to go a bit topsy turvy, especially with results everywhere else. And then by the end of it, we're all taking the mick out of Spurs, which is always a good time. And people literally having a dance in the covered and lower. It was great. It was one of those, But Paul did, Mr. Paul Davenport, the old chap. How is the?
Can't help yourself, can you?
No, every single time. How is the? What do you think of the performance on Saturday?
Well, I think it was great. I was a bit worried about Birmingham. I know they've got an iffy away record, to say the least, but yeah, I didn't feel it. Apart from maybe 10 minutes in the second half, I don't think I felt particularly worried at all, really. I did think, there's been a lot of talk among the Birmingham fan base that they brought all these players in and they've kind of jettisoned some of the guys that got them up. And I think, he wasn't left out, he was actually injured. But I really thought they missed Alex Cochrane because he's their version of the greatest player to ever put on a Charlton shirt. Obviously, Josh Edwards. Sorry, killer. But no, they do miss. He's really industrious, gets up and down, no nonsense, And I think they kind of missed some of that, basically, some of that just genuine. They played it all nice. They got great touches. They're all, they can do the basics right, but they just didn't trouble us at all, really. So it was a bit of damp squib for them. I think it was in the end it was a comfortable victory. We obviously missed a couple of chances, and I was hoping we wouldn't rue them, but obviously we didn't. So a good 3 points all in all.
Other Paul Bowen. Hope you're doing well this evening. What do you think? I think that's pretty much safety's in sight, shall I say? But it feels as if the boat is getting towards the beach, and it's like I can get off it, and I can be on the beach for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I feel like as long as we beat Oxford, as long as we beat Wednesday, or replace those points with other wins, which I think we will anyway, I can't see us going down now. Like West Brom and Leicester, they're not winning matches. They're not even drawing every match. I don't see they can catch us, to be honest. So I do think we're safe. And yes, so before these matches we were having, I was like, I'll be happy with 3 points. Oxford, between like Wrexham, Birmingham, Middlesbrough, because they've all picked up form. Obviously, Middlesbrough sitting second. And I thought, as long as we get 3 points at Oxford from these 4 matches, I'm happy. We've already got the 3 points. So if we go and get 3 points at Oxford and whatever we do on Middlesbrough, then that's a good week, in my opinion, or a good 2 weeks.
Kieran, that was, to me, it was the same game we played against them last year. Right? It was the same goal, other side of the pitch. It's the same goal, same long throw. Charlie Cameron doing his best Matty Gordon impression. But
what finish?
It was literally the same game of football with some slightly different players out there. The goalkeeper could have been on the sun lounger for most of it, in our case. Just one of those sort of Nathan Jones did a job on Chris Davies for the second season in a row. It looks like.
Yeah, it was fun to watch. I don't think the score sheet told the whole story. It looks like 1-0, pretty boring game, but it was really enjoyable. We had great chances, and we should have finished more of them. We could have. I think that's just unfortunate. Just a bit of football mentality of don't take too many touches. Just hammer it.
Give Clara the credit for the tackle on Tyrese. That's one of the best tackles you're going to see.
That was lovely. That was
fair play.
Really good. and they played well. Not well enough. Clearly, we sort of ran rings around them for most of the game, and I thought we played really well. I know we've been critical of our midfield and such, but I think all across the pitch we looked really really strong there. There were a couple of poor moments. Greg Doherty's, for example, just losing the ball needlessly. But for the most part, I think we did really well there. And we didn't leave ourselves too vulnerable. So it was good.
Nice. Let me say hello to a couple of people in the comments. Just to clear up for Tommy, I think joined a bit late. I hope Emma is okay. Emma is fine. And she's feeling a little bit under the weather, and she wasn't at the game yesterday. I think she was working. So she thought that she would have me host just because I was there. But she's absolutely fine. We chatted to her about 5 minutes ago. So promise all is good. So to Charlie, he's saying fantastic win and a couple more points to be guaranteed safe. Clark was fantastic. Mannion was solid. Anyone that's watched my pod knows my feelings. Glenn says, hi, all great 3 points. Tom Jackson, good evening, good win yesterday. Tommy, evening all, great result, huge 3 points. Matt H, hi guys, good performance with a fantastic result. Majority superb, but Ramsey's my man of the match with Clark a close second. Our right side was brilliant. Gray is in Ramsey's pocket. Tommy feels Nathan Jones said we've come on since last year, since we played them at the Valley last year. I think he's saying felt we look more assured on the ball than last year, as Nathan Jones has said. Try saying Clark and a permanent in the summer would be lovely. And Stuart said thought Brom looked better last season, to be honest. Oh, there's so many things in those comments I want to. Gypsy saying bring back Jim Melrose, all is forgiven. I'm not entirely sure, but have I missed a piece of Chronicles lore? I probably have. Let's. There's so many interesting points that I want to take from what people are saying. I'm going to start with my man of the match, and then we'll get to, and then we'll come back to Matt's. Mine was Lloyd Jones, Paul D.
Yep. Likewise,
I thought that was maybe his best performance in a Charlton shirt. I thought he was absolutely fantastic, and he took an absolute elbow to the throat from their striker, who should have been sent off. But I just anywhere and everywhere. When Osman got round second half, it looked like he's in on goal. Lloyd Jones steps over to block it. Ball goes across the box. Lloyd Jones is there to get it. Ball comes in from a corner. Lloyd Jones is there to head it. Right, just absolutely everywhere. And as I say, I thought best maybe his best performance in a Charlton shirt, considering we've gone up a level compared to last year.
he's been an absolute monster. I do think it helps that having the good quality lieutenants around him, because if you remember when he had the likes of Tyrell Thomas and the other chap who went to Dagenham and Redbridge in the Baller League.
Hector.
That's right, yeah, absolutely. He was having to fight fires left, right and centre. So at least, the number of fires he's fighting aren't quite as many. So he can actually concentrate. But he's just been an absolute monster. He's sort of here, there and everywhere. And I saw a tweet, I think this morning, forgive me, I forget who it was from, basically saying, do we think that maybe some clubs higher up might come sniffing around? And someone was suggesting, well, he's 30 now. They're not likely to want to spend money on him. But I can see there being interest because he's just basically torn it up the last 18 months or so. And he'd not played at this level before, so as we've said previously, you just don't know how people are going to match up. You assumed he'd do well, but it's not a given. But by God, he absolutely has. He's been, as I say, an absolute monster at the back. And obviously, every time he gets a bit of a twinge or he goes down, as at West Brom, there's sort of sharp intakes of breath, I'm sure, throughout the entire fan base. So I think the sooner we can get mathematically safe, the better, really, because he deserves a good long rest. He deserves about 3 months off. And I don't mean to go on some dodgy dating show, although that's up to him, really. But because he's been absolutely a real colossus for us. And yeah, he was absolutely the man of the match. There were some other contenders, as others have said, but yeah, he was he's been head and shoulders, I think, our best player, particularly as Josh has been injured for most of it. So, but that's not, I won't tarry on my conscious bias towards
Paul. Josh Edwards has played 5 championship games. You trying to tell me if he was fit, he would been our player of the season after watching 5 championship games?
I don't care what you say or what anyone says. he will be my player of the season in perpetuity. But no, on a serious note, obviously I'm joshing. See what I did there to some extent. But yeah, I mean, Lloyd is just, if he doesn't get player of the season, it'll be a travesty, really, because he's just been fantastic. And I hope that we can keep hold of him, because I don't think we should, sort of ignore the fact that, there will be other people would have seen it. He's got his displays. He's got a massive sample size now in terms of his prowess. So, it wouldn't surprise me, despite the fact that he's now into his 30s, that there will be people, coming and having a look. But again, I think he's enjoying it. He's enjoying his football. And I'm sure there'll be a little pay rise in his pay packet come the summer. I would be very surprised if there wasn't talks initiated at quite an early stage over the sort of the close season that you get. But he was great yesterday, and he's been great all season. Fantastic player.
Paul B, the players next to him, because honestly, I said this to the guys next to me at the game. I'm moving season ticket seats, so he won't have to listen to me natter into his ear for 90 minutes every week, because it must be getting really blooming annoying at this point. But basically,
saying nothing.
You can take any of the back. You're not the person that sits next to me, Paul. You can take any of the Coventry, Ramsey, Bell, Axis. Thought all of them were exceptional. Let's talk about Kane, who I know Paul and I had a bit of a devil's advocate about. That's the Kane Ramsey you want to see every week, right? Had one of the best players in the division absolutely in his pocket. Defensively, positioning wise, looked a lot better. It seemed like he was really, really switched on, really concentrated. He wasn't just entirely reliant on his athleticism, I didn't think. That's the best of Kane Ramsey, isn't it? Wasn't it on Saturday afternoon?
Yeah, he looked very comfortable, and he was even using a bit of skill as well.
Well, on the touchline.
What we're more used from seeing from Amari Bell. But yeah, I just think we're going about Lloyd Jones, but Lloyd Jones looks really good because of the people next to him. Ramsey's one of them. Bell's the other. When we had Maka in the team, he was having to do a lot of mopping up after him. So yeah, Ramsey's just, he's had a few bad patches this season, but he just looks like he's improving all the time, like overall. And yeah, yesterday I thought it was one of his best performances in a Charlton shirt, really, along with Jones, along with a few of our players. So,
I mean, considering he's dealing with Demarai Gray, who, as I say, is on talent and probably on pay packet, is one of the better wingers in the division, right? To have Demarai Gray look completely out of sorts, I mean, that's an achievement.
He came off the pitch and I was like, oh, he's not a really good player. Where was he? Obviously, he kept quiet. That's what you want from our defence, is to keep the attacking players quiet, and that's what we did well yesterday. And people were saying, were Birmingham really bad yesterday? I was like, I'm not sure, because we just kept all their best players quiet. Like, they couldn't do anything on the ball. They're a possession playing team, and they didn't have the ball yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it too is Nathan Jones versus Chris Davis is a bit of a mismatch in terms of tactical acumen. I think Chris Davis is someone that does very, very well when you give him a lot more cash than those around him. But I'm not going to do that, because next time I go to Digbeth, I'd rather not be attacked. Kieran, let's talk about the third member of that back three, Amari Bell. Amari Bell's Amari Bell, isn't he? He's a 7.5 every single week. It doesn't matter what sort of game he's playing. Had one bad game against Pompey. That's about it.
Yeah.
I mean, we just look so much better when he's playing. And I tell you, in the summer, they're going to have to go find themselves a left-footed centre-back who can be his backup, because when he's injured, we don't look like that defensively.
No, I just think we were so solid. Our setup was so secure. Normally you're really worried, like especially when Amari's out, and you're just like, well, what do we do here? How are we going to clear it all up? But it was just so secure. I just couldn't see them getting through us. I saw Amari sweeping up. I saw Kane sweeping up, and Lloyd especially. Just all of them just getting into him. And then the ball was up, and TC was on his game, and the service was really nice, even through the midfield. I know we ripped them to shreds last podcast, but I just
they
thought we
deserved
looked...
it, by the way.
Yeah, they did. They did deserve it. They were terrible, but I think it's like they heard us or something. But our back line just played.
I think it
through
was
the
one
midfield,
before that.
Played
Actually,
it off
now
to
that
the wing. It was lovely.
I think it's the one before that.
Yeah,
last week.
but
we
spent
they're actually
spent a long time. We spent a long time going. Yeah, midfield's terrible, but I think playing off of that back line, we can just do so much better. We can set ourselves up better to take the opportunities. And look, we did. We were secure. We kept a clean sheet, and we did set ourselves up better, and so we won. It's just good to see that we're playing well, and like you said, if we lost on Mobile, then maybe we won't play so well. You know, it's not a nice thing to think about, losing such a vital player of our backline, and with his injuries and stuff, it's not like we're secure in having him every week.
Paul, there's a couple of comments on Manions in the comments. We'll come to it, I promise. I'll do it at the end of this setup for a very specific.
Are we not going to do a half an hour segment? Are we not going to do a half an hour segment?
We're not. I'm going to set a time limit because we have to do a Middlesbrough preview. But Paul, I'll get you on the two wing backs actually, because I thought Harry Clark was very good again. Minus the fact that first half I looked up and he was inside the box about to shoot again. I thought, oh my god, not again. Never ever seen a player get himself into such good positions and just not be able to put the ball in the onion bag. It's impressive actually, the skill. But other than that, where he took the really bad.
He's just building himself up. He'll get there.
He'll get there final day of the season. Get a hat trick. No, but he's a defensively, I thought he was brilliant yesterday. Harry Clark, I thought he rotated around sort of in terms of keeping the ball. I thought he did a really good job doing that. I thought he had a really good performance. I thought Luke Chambers, didn't actually put the ball in the box, which was interesting. But defensively, I thought he was okay. I think he spared Manion's blushes when the one went through his hands.
He did save his bacon, didn't he? Yeah, he was very calm.
And that's good positioning, right? If that had been TC at left wing back, we would have been done for, because it's positionally knowing where you need to be. But I thought those two fullbacks were good yesterday, and I think it's more proof that whatever we do next season, we need more wing backs than we need, not less of them.
Yeah, no, God forbid I should counteract what you just said. But no, I mean, I think, I bang on about many things on this podcast ad nauseum. But one of the things more recently is being about sort of winning the psychological battle and actually imposing ourselves. The manager talks about getting a front foot, but I would argue that we've sometimes not had the players to do that. So when you've got more than competent, progressive wing backs who can actually maraud up and down the line, then they are both weapons basically. They're not just defensive. Obviously, that's their first duty, but obviously then for them to be able to be offensive, that puts doubt and concern into the opposition's mind, and we've not really had that. And so I think they carry out that dual role very well. I think Chambers, you're right to draw attention to the Mannion sort of fumble, if you want to call it that. I thought
I'm not criticising him, by the way. I'm actually giving Chambers the credit rather than being critical.
Absolutely, exactly. You're saying the right context though, because I think it was a very calm sort of flicked header that Luke made first of all, and then he got himself on the ball and was calm, got the ball. I forget he was to Doc or whoever. He got it out of the way anyway. Got it to one of our own players without sort of panicking and kicking it out to one of theirs. So yeah, and now I think Harry again has proved himself almost from minute one that he's more than happy to sort of get up and down, likes to tackle, likes to have a shot, gets in the right positions, as you've said. He's been unsuccessful apart from the disallowed goal that was arguably his best effort at Leicester. And yeah, he's clearly at the level and beyond. And it's someone that I'd certainly like to. Excuse me. If there was any way of keeping him
I think that's a deal
beyond
we
this,
can make with Ipswich. I think.
yeah, I think so. I
that
think.
might work for both sides, especially if they don't get.
Well, he was
promoted.
basically the reason he came to us. I think he's fourth in the queue at
Yeah.
Ipswich. So if they go up, then of course he'll be even further back. So I mean, I think again, he looks like you could tell these players are really enjoying their football. Him and Lyndon were having a right laugh at the end, as they was all walking round. So that was really good vibes. So yeah, if we can get a deal done, I'd really like to, because he's excellent, and he's been a real upgrade of that position, I felt, beyond the Raptor and whoever else, and even James Bree, actually, to be fair. So yeah, I thought he was excellent. And yeah, Luke just improves with every game. I'd love to think we could keep him, but I think the possibility is probably quite remote. But having that left wing back position in
I don't
particular,
think another year's loan is too problematic. I think that's something that Liverpool.
Yeah, okay, but I mean, to go back to what you said often on this podcast in the previous months, the left wing back position, we were left exposed from, let's be honest, can I say incompetence? Yeah, can I say incompetence? Am I being too harsh on our recruitment team? Because they've certainly redeemed themselves. I mean, don't care what I think, do they? They wouldn't be the first, but not the only ones. But I think they redeemed themselves with the acquisitions, particularly in January. So we just don't. Hopefully, they've learned the lesson, and we won't be left exposed like that again. You talked about Amari Bell. It's the same thing. Sorry, I'm sort of going slightly off topic, but I think it is relevant. But as to where we are now, you asked about the wing backs we've got now. I think they're excellent, and if we could hold on to both of them beyond the summer, I'd be well happy with that.
Yeah, I just want to answer Matt's comment in here. Paul, I'm going to come to you and talk about midfielders. So you think about midfielders. I think Connor Coventry will come to it. Whilst he thinks of his answer, I'm going to Matt's talking about Chambers' solid defensive, but attacking wise, thought it was poor. I think a lot of this, because people are really not going to like this. I'm happy Emma's not on the show, because I think she'd disagree with it vociferously. But actually, if you look at it, Tyrese played on that right hand side. It's a bit weird. I thought he would have played on the left, but actually spent a lot of time on the right hand side. Which basically allowed for an overlap, and that allowed Harry Clark, I think, to bomb in a way that Luke couldn't, because if Luke bombs, there's no covering behind him. We saw it a little bit in the first half. He went and Tyree sat back, and everybody in the crowd started getting really, really annoyed. And I was like, well, he has to sit, because if he goes and the ball gets turned over, exactly, we're done for. So I think there's probably just the way the overlaps worked. It worked that actually their right side was actually the stronger defense in Iwata than if it had been Samuel been playing there. I think you would have seen a lot more sort of poor going, as it was the other side where Cochrane was obviously injured, as you say. Paul, I think we tried to exploit that side. So I think that's probably why that was, Matt. My reference, I think, probably in this game was specifically defensively rather than going forward. Paul, let's talk about Connor Coventry, because I thought he was really, really good. That Birmingham midfield has absolutely no bite in it, so that's quite helpful. But I thought Connor controlled the tempo of that game. I thought he was very good defensively, picked up a couple of balls, played some nice, distributed the ball out nice and quickly. Thought he had a really nice game for himself. I don't know what you think.
Yeah, and it was another game where we controlled the midfield, and I didn't think we would. And yeah, he's whenever we control the midfield, he's always a big part of it, because sometimes Doc can get overrun. Sonny, he's more attacking minded, so yeah, whenever we're controlling, Connor Coventry is always a big part of it. He just cleans up everything that gets loose in the midfield. He backs up the defenders when they run forwards, because we all know Lloyd Jones likes to go up for corners and long throws now. Yeah, he's just always there. He's always dependable, and that's why he got the players played it year last season, because everyone relies on him. And yeah, he's always dependable. And whatever, because Nathan Jones said that he was off form or he had a niggle, and he kept flip-flopping between the two. Whatever that was, bringing Connor Cody in to cover him for a few matches has allowed Connor Coventry to, remember how to play football again the way he does. And he's come back just as good as he was at the beginning of the season, when we were winning matches and up in the top six.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Cody coming in, there's a lot to learn from him as well in terms of the way. I think Connor now is looking a lot more to the outside. I mentioned this after Leicester game, which is when Cody came in. The first thing I noticed was head up, go to the wing back, head up, go to the wing back. I think having wing backs on both sides now has massively helped Connor because he has two players to play to. But also, I mean, you can kind of learn that from watching Connor next to you. I think that it's Connor and Connor. It's a bit annoying, but but there's a lot that Connor can learn from Connor. Is what I'm trying to say. And so I think that, but yeah, I mean, I hope for long may it continue for Coventry. I thought that was a really impressive performance. Kieran, let's talk about Doc. Again, this is a game that suited him massively. They're going to play the ball around. They're going to keep nice short passes. Nothing's going to go in behind him, other than the one where he gave it away really stupidly. I thought Doc again had himself a very nice game. I was a bit surprised he got the tunnel jump, but hey ho. I thought he had himself a pretty nice game. I think I'll also give you Sonny Carey just because I thought he was pretty anonymous. So we might as well just tick off that box. There's no point doing a whole sort of thing on him. I thought that was there wasn't much for Sonny in. There was a couple of drives forward where he moved the ball down, but I thought he was pretty anonymous outside of that.
Yeah, yeah, sorry, I was just making sure my mic was on. Yeah, I think Doc was brilliant. I think, like you said, this game suits him. Just those simple, just get it done passes. Because if we're trying to play it long, if we're trying to play through them, Doc can't do that. He just doesn't have the ball on him. But he has that physicality. He has that security. And I think it was a game that really suited him. But it's interesting the way the fans responded to Doc and the fact that he got the tunnel jump. Because if you had been sat down in the technical area, you would have thought he had just murdered someone on the pitch when he let that ball go. Genuinely, they spent the next half an hour going, what the was that Doc clip? And they just kept replaying it on their little screen, and they just kept looking at it, and they just kept shouting at Greg the rest of the half. And then the minute he came off, the first thing they did, no one even congratulated him. It was straight to Doc, look at the screen. And they were just showing him the replay of this one fumble. And I was just like, it wasn't that bad. Like, it could have led to them having a goal scoring opportunity, but luckily our backline kind of dealt with it. But it just went on and on and on. And so I was just like, I think he played really well. We all seem to think he played well. I'm sure we are agreed.
Yeah.
But God, it was so just like this one mistake. And so I was surprised as well that he got the tunnel jump. The technical error is pretty heated. We got new records in the swear jar that I'm sure we'll come on to at some point. But yeah, Doc played well for me, but clearly not for Nathan. So I don't think he'll be back next week, based on the reception he got.
Well, I mean, that sums up just how good Sonny Carey was yesterday. No mention at all.
Oh yeah, sorry,
but I think it's just a pretty good sum up of actually he didn't have much of an impact on the game.
Nothing.
I like Sonny Carey a hell of a lot.
Shot.
I like Sonny Carey a hell of a lot. I'm not criticising him, but that's quite funny. I didn't think he had much of an impact. That's going to happen, right? Attacking midfielders can be like that. They can be in and out of games. I'm not going to worry about it. He's been good enough in pretty much every other game we've played. Paul, I'm very much on the side now of get the contract extension out for Lyndon Dykes, please. This is a Nathan Jones forward. I mean, at the end of it, Birmingham, the centre backs, I know they know him from when he played there. They're kind of going up and giving him a bit of a high five and whatever. That's a sign of respect. That sounds, you've had a bit of a battle. You can see Lee Burns learning a little bit as well, I think, off him. I very much would like to give him that contract extension. Actually, I thought Tyrese was pretty good on it as well. Do you put in the comments? We will come to Middlesbrough. Don't you worry. We have plenty of time. But Paul, that was. But yeah, so I'll give him the contract extension. You know what? Fair enough. Sometimes
absolutely. Just to go back to Sonny, he does a good shimmy. That's what that's got.
He does do a nice shimmy. He does do a nice.
He does. Yeah, he took a couple of Wrexham players out with one shimmy the other week. But anyway, that's by the by. I digress as usual. But no, Lyndon Dykes, excellent. He's really come into it. He loved it. I mean, it's nice to see good reception from the Birmingham fans as well, Blues fans when he went up as well. So that was good. I know there's a few grumblings in their forums about letting him go too early and what have you. But there we are. We've got him now. So, but no, I think he played really well. As I say, he leads the line. He's got lots of savvy. He's been around a block, as the cliche goes, and as you say, he's the ideal mentor for Miles. He can say to Miles, "Look, don't worry about it. Just get stuck in. Just keep doing what you're doing, really." And I think, if we can get the contract done, that of course the danger is if he does go to the World Cup and plays a blinder, then there may be other, the world quite literally could be his oyster. But as it stands at the moment, he clearly enjoys, he's happy in himself. He enjoys his football. He's starting games, which of course he wasn't at Blues, and that's a major factor. So yeah, hopefully we can get something done. But if he's got any sense, he'll play cards close to his chest.
You can tell he likes Nathan as well at the end of games. They often give themselves a nice embrace.
Yeah,
these are two
and
people that
sometimes,
get on.
And it's a bit like, for those of you that read the Johnny Williams article on Crawley's Substack, Johnny said obviously when he came, he basically took a pay cut, or certainly going into that post playoff 2019 playoff win season, he took a pay cut because he said, sometimes it's about whether you enjoy your football. Obviously, the fact that things soured later on is by the by, but as I say, when he made the decision, he took less money. He'd obviously been on big money at Palace or whatever. That's the last time I mentioned them, and it may be the same with Linden. I'm sure he won't be a pauper. We'll make sure he gets decent wedge. But as I say, if Scotland have actually get through to the second round, which will be a first for them, obviously, in a major tournament, and he plays his part, then again, it may be that there's stimulates a lot of interest. But yeah, as I now enjoys his football, I'd love to get contracts tied up before he goes. He seemed to hint at that actually when he was interviewed by Louis a couple of weeks ago. He didn't close the door on that, so it'd be great to get a deal done as early as possible. Because as you know, I was sort of buzzing when we brought him in. One or two other people on this podcast weren't perhaps necessarily as enthusiastic as me, but I'm glad it's turned out really, really well. So providing he keeps himself fit and healthy for the next 10 games, then he obviously played his part in hopefully keeping us up. I can open the humidor, get the cigars out, and give him one. And but yeah, it'd be great, as you say, give him the contract extension. It would be fantastic. That'd be great news going into the World Cup for us and him as well. But yeah, fingers crossed.
I'll come. I'm just going to read a couple of comments out. Jupiter, if you could just do me a favor, mate. Some of these comments aren't very nice. About the four of us. We're this podcast is about us trying to give our opinions. I do read the comments. I've read out most of the comments that have come in, and I've referenced them in the questions. So just do me a favor, if you could help me out with that one, mate, because it's not particularly nice to be told what we're doing is poisonous. We're just having a conversation about football and we're giving our opinions. So yeah, cheers, mate, on that one. So I've got Matt saying totally agree with Kieran that Cov and Dock were superb on Saturday. I've got Connor Cov next to Connor Cod will be a tongue twister. Can we not do that? That'd be bad. God. There's no way someone won't accidentally make that into some sort of double entendre we're going to get wrong. Chambers was that's done that one. I honestly think if Kelman, when not injured, played every game, we have double figures. When it comes to Kelman in a minute, I'm going to give him his flowers. And then we've got a lot of comments about what we're doing is poisonous. Right. So Paul, before we talk about Kelman, so Kieran, you're gonna get the goal scorer. So Paul, I thought Tyrese Campbell was pretty good actually yesterday. To be fair, I thought he was on it. Did a lot of overlapping. You can see he was actually getting on the end. He's getting on the last line of the Birmingham centre backs. So I thought he played pretty well.
Yeah, I thought it's a more intelligent performance from TC because normally he'll run at defences and sometimes get tackled, and then the fan base start moaning, "Oh, why is he not passed?" But there was times it was a physical game, and there's a few times he did get pushed off the ball, and then after that he was like, "Well, I can't run through you, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for the pass," and he was finding passes with the midfield. And and I thought he was just intelligent. He was getting himself into goal scoring positions. It's just I just thought he was more intelligent than just running at their defence and running around it, and then finding that he's got no one to pass to. He was looking for that pass. Do I go on a run or should I find a pass? And in a game where we were keeping hold of possession, especially in the first half, I thought that worked well for us. It was strange. It was strange seeing him run at us in the first half. But
Yeah. So I think that, Kieran, we're going to come to you. We're going to give you the goal scorer. Because that was one. It was, as we said before, it's the most. It looked like Matty Godden last year in terms of the finish. I think with. I'd be interested to know your opinion on Kelman. Paul and I went in maybe a bit harsh last week on Kelman, but I stand by it. I think that maybe Paul's comment about the timber was a bit harsh, but I stand by it. I thought that he was really, really poor. He didn't look particularly great when he came on against Wrexham. Yesterday, I thought that was very, very different. I think he head was up, looked sharp, and he had a lovely finish. What else can you really ask for?
He was just better, and I think, in all honesty, I don't know how he even finished that. I don't know how you can generate that much power in that angle. It just doesn't make sense to me. But that's what he's here for. He's here to do those awkward goals, and if he has the service, just score constantly. Because that's what he did. That's what he did a league ago, and that's why he won the Golden Boot. Was goals like that. Was just in tricky situations. He's technically such a brilliant striker that he can just finish anything. He can just get his foot on it somehow and put it in the back of the net. And it reminds me of Matty Godden. I think that's probably a big part of why we signed him, was that he plays similarly to how we were setting up. I don't think for the first few months of the season he got the service, and then he had that injury and he's looked a bit off form and not as sharp as he should. However, yesterday he just came back with a bang, and I think as much as he was just sharper, he's probably been working harder. Like he had that situation that he's so used to, that he's drilled so many times, and that he's been, as much as it will never be angle perfect and he'll never have encountered that exact thing, those types of situations just favour him. It favours him as a striker. We have the likes of Lyndon Dykes to get these balls coming over his head. Charlie Kelman can't do that. He needs it to his feet. And he can do like that wonderful touch early in the season where he just had it to his feet, took the touch and ran on. And it wasn't perfect, but if he can do that going forward, just take it at his feet, somehow do something with it, then that's all we need. And the crowd was obviously buzzing. Even the West Stand got behind him and started chanting for Charlie Kelman. So, you know what I mean? That's saying something. But I think it was a really, really strong performance from him to cap out the squad.
I'd also like to thank Charlie Kelman for starting what was one of the funniest chants I've heard at the Valley all season. In fact, probably the funniest one, which was Tottenham away, ole, ole. At this rate, it very much looks as if the Spurs Stadium's in our future, boys. Right, I'm getting my cup filled from the bottom. I'm excited.
It's going to be great.
Oh, no, comfortable seats, lots of leg room. What's there not to like?
Are they heated? I don't know.
Probably.
Table service.
I'm gonna ask the comment section, Matt. I've seen your comment there about Oxford and Borough, and I want to bring that up. Let me just do this one thing, and then we'll do. I thought both Leeburn and JRC, by the way, were good when they came on. Leeburn should finish that, but other than that, I thought he was good in open play. JRC, I thought, contributed quite a lot. Kinsella was forgiven.
Kinsella.
That's quite good. But goalkeeping, because this is the thing that I've been seeing going around. I have to set a very strict about 6-minute time limit for this. So I'm going to lay my position out on it because I'm probably different to a lot of people's. And then you can all tell me why I'm wrong. And we'll do a quick whip round and see if people agree with me or not. Football is all about opinion. So I say this with knowing that everybody's got one. And there is no wrong or right opinion in this circumstance. However, I was listening to other esteemed Charlton podcasts, in which I heard a number of things about the goalkeeping situation that I do not understand. Yes, Will Mannion came from some crosses yesterday. He had a good performance yesterday. This is not anti-Will Mannion when I say any of this, by the way. I like Will Mannion. However, I think the only from these two games that we found the answer in goal and everything needs to be changed and we can't change it to the end of the season and all the rest of it. No, sorry, everybody. There was a shot from a Watter in that second half where the ball is past the post before Mannion's hit the deck. That's basic reflexes. That worried me. There's one that he's let go through his hands in the second half that Luke Chambers cleans up for him. That's a tap-in. Wrexham, he should be stopping that last week. The distribution, I didn't actually think was particularly great at times. It was a nice throw, to be fair to him. Second half, it was a really nice throw out to, I think it was Ramsey. It's a very nice throw. But I still worry about it. I'm not saying that he can't be a championship goalkeeper. I'm very interesting. I think Borough will sort of show whether I'm right or wrong. I hope I'm wrong. Genuinely, I hope I'm wrong. But I've just the one shot he had to save in these two games he hasn't saved. And I just look at it and I go, he claimed a few crosses yesterday. The game suited him, but I haven't seen enough for me to say, yeah, that's the number one. And I'm going to leave it at that. Put your points in the comments. You can tell me I'm wrong. That's absolutely fine. That's what football's all about. I could be wrong. I hope I'm proven wrong on Wednesday, but I don't know what the panel thinks. You guys can let me know what you think.
Well, Kaminsky's got a higher ceiling than Will. We haven't. I mean, as you say, Will's not been tested apart from the Rathbone shot, which he kind of dived under, or it went over his arm. So yes, he was alert. As I said to you yesterday, he was alert. He gathered balls that he needed to. He came for crosses that he needed to. But as you say, I mean, that if there'd have been anyone running in on that sort of spilled chance, that would have certainly been a goal for them. So as I say, I don't think he's been tested. He's certainly not been tested as much as Kaminsky as in some of his games. And I couldn't honestly see him pulling off some of the saves that Kaminsky has pulled off previously. So I think a good backup. He deserves his chance now that TK's out. But we'll see. As you said, I hope that he acquits himself well against Borough. But he's going to be busy, I think. So again, we'll see. He'll have an opportunity to show his mettle on Wednesday. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, Paul. Think I'm wrong? Think I'm right? Or are you on the?
No, I agree with you because we were messaging about this, and they're two different keepers. And as you move up the leagues, you need a shot stopper. That's not Mannion. Mannion's had one save to make in the last two matches. He didn't make it. That's why Wrexham beat us. And yesterday,
Well, that and our bad finishing. To be fair to Mannion can't put the ball in the back of the net from 2 yards.
No.
To be fair to him, that would be.
But had that Arata shot just been inside the post, he would have never got there. I watched him and I was like, he wouldn't have got to that. He was about a second late to it. And yeah, it's shot stoppers you need as you go. Our best keeper in my lifetime is Dean Kiley, and he was a shot stopper. And you face shots, you face good shots as you move up the leagues, and we've seen this season. We've been beaten by teams, multiple goals, good shots. Even if they're fortunate, like Stoke away, but you have to deal with good shots. They're going to go up in the top corners, the bottom corners. And Mannion just can't get to the bottom corners for me. Maybe he's a fairly young keeper. Maybe he can improve. But for me, it's got to be Kaminsky if Kaminsky's fit, especially against good teams like Borough. Oxford will probably get away with Mannion in goal. But we're going to have to rely on our defence to make sure he can sit down and read a newspaper and not have to make shots.
Kieran, just before I come to you, and I'm gonna ask you, I just want to bring up, these are two very different comments from the chat, and I think they're both absolutely fair opinions to have. Matt saying spot on to me. Cheers, mate. 100% I like Mannion, but Kaminsky's more experienced and have defended Cam on the regular. Ely Military saying, for me, Kaminsky's cost us too many times and doesn't come up for crosses. Kaminsky's our highest wage earner for nothing. Maybe the highest wage earner for nothing. It's a bit harsh. But to be fair, I think you can kind of fall either side of it. I guess I'm trying to almost take a middle ground position here. Some people are just looking who's on the most wages. They make a mistake want to bring in the number 2. So we've got some different opinions. Kieran, I don't know if you disagree with me. If you do, feel free to let me know why I'm wrong. So opinions at the end of the day. But what do you think about the goalkeeping situation?
I think we'd be in a worse position without Kaminsky. In all honesty, I feel like the saves he has made has kept us in the position we are. We've won games because of him. Because we're not winning by much. We're not scoring enough goals to let goals in. And so being solid in defence and in goal, we need someone between the sticks to stop shots in a way that Will Mannion, as great as Big Willie is, and as much as he was awesome last season, and he did that amazing playoffs, keeping that clean sheet and just giving us that solid ground to build on to get us to where we are now. Flowers, all credit to him. He's done a great job, and he's a good player, but he isn't up to stopping the shots he's facing in the Championship. And we've had prime examples of that. He should have stopped Wrexham. He should have done better yesterday. As much as we didn't concede, we looked like we could have if he had have faced more shots, and if Luke Chambers wasn't the wonder boy he is, and if our defence wasn't as good. I think we need Kaminsky back, and I think because we will move on to Middlesbrough in a second. We set a 6-minute limit, so I'm gonna say about Middlesbrough, I think we will concede quite a few. I think it's bleak if we have Mannion, because we will face so many shots. Look at QPR today, just got peppered 4-0, and it will be the same with us. They'll run around us. They will shoot, and if it's Mannion, to tie into the goalkeeping, if it's Mannion over Kaminsky, which it will be, unless Kaminsky's magically fit by Wednesday, then it's not looking great because he can't stop what he needs to.
I'm gonna allow this to be an 8-minute thing just because I quickly need to bring up the point to almost argue myself. I've got Ely Military in here saying that Kaminsky can't catch a card. I'm not sure that's true. He did come for a couple last time he was in goal. Parries everything back into the danger zone. That is a very common thing. Jupiter's got a really great story about meeting Dean Kiley in a bar in Portsmouth. If you're watching on YouTube, have a read of it. It's cracking. But the I wish I could react to that. It's a good story. But the I think probably the argument against my own point is probably the Chelsea game. I know we conceded 5, but he actually made a number of pretty darn good stops, to be fair to Will. Yeah. And I've always said the save made against Wickham in the playoff semi-final in the away game was actually a far better save than it looks, because that thing swerves nastily in front. He made a great save at Stockport as well, to be fair. So he's made some big saves and some big moments. I'm not trying to sort of, this is not a pile on Will Mannion sort of thing. I like him a lot. I'm just not sure I'm ready to say that we need to that's been sort of that needs to be changed tomorrow, or that we now have a new number 1. I'm not sure that's true. I am open to having conversations in the summer, but I don't think you can move that Kaminsky contract anyway. Right, let's move on to Middlesbrough on Wednesday. I won't lie to everybody. The expectation for me is we're going to get absolutely nothing. I watched their game at Loftus Road this evening. They absolutely kicked the crap out of QPR.
Yeah.
And there's no way around it. Hayden Hackney to me, along with Grimes. Matt Grimes is it at Coventry. I've said it, 2 best midfielders in the Championship. I don't think it's very close. If Grimes was 5 years younger, maybe he'd be worth more. But, I think Hackney's easily a £40 million player in the current market. He will be in the Premier League next year, whether Middlesbrough or not. Middlesbrough do this thing where they don't actually play a 6, an 8, and a 10, but all 3 of them play in different positions at different moments. They're exceptionally good on the ball. Think Birmingham, but if Birmingham could actually penetrate, they've got a very good back line. They've got a very good goalkeeper. It's just going to be really, really difficult on a Wednesday night up there in the northeast. Thanks to the EFL for that schedule. But I don't know, Paul. I don't know, Paul Davenport. I don't know what you think. I can't see us getting anything, and I think that game is massively, massively that win. That's why that win's so important, isn't it? Just to keep some space ahead of Oxford playing Blackburn on Tuesday night.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, myself and a few others in the comments to your pod, I think Tommy and Stuart, among others, said that it's a free hit, basically. I think we've given us that win against Birmingham. It essentially has given us the opportunity for a free hit. And I said to you on our WhatsApp that I felt that Borough almost playing a type of total football. They're always on the move, not only offensively, but defensively. They're always alert. They're always first to the ball in both offensive and defensive situations. They've got some cracking players. Obviously, Hayden Hackney, top among them, as you say. Wonderful player, wonderful goal he scored. That for their third goal was the commentator said exquisite, and it really was.
It's a beauty. If you haven't seen it, watch the highlights. It's a lovely.
With respect to Middlesbrough, not much exquisite comes out of that part of the world. But but yeah, no, it was excellent. As I say, I mean they didn't quite overrun Birmingham, but they taught Birmingham a bit of a lesson at St Andrews. The sort of game before, so yeah, I don't think we're going to get that. I'd be very surprised if we got anything out of it, but you never know. It's one of those where we've, in a sense, the pressure's slightly off us. So yeah, we can go there and just, if we play like we did on Saturday, then I think we give ourselves a chance. But as I say, player for player, it's a bit like Birmingham last season. They were player for player, they're much better than us. So yeah, if we get anything out of it, I'll be very, very surprised indeed.
Paul Beale. Oh, sorry. Finish your point. Sorry.
I was just going to say, no, as long as we give a good account of ourselves, then I'll be happy with that.
Paul Bowen, we were talking about good Kaminsky performances. He probably won't be in goal on Wednesday, but the home game against him, that was one of his best in a Troughton shirt. He kept us in that game. We got absolutely peppered. It was absolutely horrendous. And yet, if Tante could finish from 5 yards, we actually would have got a point out of it. So that's kind of what Middlesbrough are like. It's high-octane football. It's very much comes from the Norwegian leagues. Their manager comes from Norway. It's all out. It's all press. It's all go. It's fantastic to watch. But they do leave themselves open a little bit at the back if you can take advantage of it. Do you agree with Paul and me? Not seeing much out of it. Yeah. I know you'll be joining me on the. I know we'll both be making that long trek up to the northeast on Wednesday night.
Yeah, I'm mad enough to do that. Yeah, I just like as I said earlier. I think 3 points from these 4 matches is a good return. We've already got those 3 points. We still should get another 3 points at Oxford, so it should be 6 points. If we get anything on Wednesday, I'm happy. We played them earlier in the season at home, and I felt that we played them at the end of the five game losing streak, didn't we? And I thought that was probably our better performance in those 5 matches. I didn't feel like we threw the game away like we did against Southampton and Stoke. I just felt they beat us because they were a lot better than us.
They could have scored 5 or 6 though, couldn't they? That night I was watching from India, but they could have scored 5 or 6 from where I was. But we
were outclassed by a much better team.
Yeah,
and I think playing them at Borough on a Wednesday night when I don't know. I'm interested to see what the team's going to be because Nathan Jones is probably going to have one eye on the Saturday morning game against Oxford, which is ridiculous. He was moaning about the schedule, and if you look at it, when the players aren't even going to get a chance to train in between those matches. But yeah, I'm just going up.
I'm just
going up there.
Tip the ground off.
Well, no, I've ticked the ground off already. I'm just going up there just to because I've been to every match so far this season.
He wants to get the streak.
See how we do, really. I'm just interested to see how we do against the top 2 team.
We've got
with the squad and lineup we're going to have.
Yeah, so Matt brings up a really good point, and we've only got a couple of minutes, so we'll just speed through his comment here. But Cameron has to start against Oxford, so that was in reference to what you were saying earlier, Kieran. Borough will probably just defend and take a point. I think this is a game where you do want to start Tyrese Campbell so you can counter. Because let's be honest, we're going to be doing a lot of countering and not a lot of possessing the ball. So you're going to need some pace from somewhere. And that's the only pace that we have. So I think it'd be hard to pick the team for that, and then come and maybe can start with Dykes against Oxford. I think that would probably make the most sense. They're not going to like it. The atmosphere is going to be crap, and I guarantee we'll get a result there for Jupiter. Now, Kieran, before I ask you a specific opinion, this reminds me a lot of Derby in League One. Towards the end of the season, they were battling for that sort of that top two, top three. They're on a good run. They just come off a bad run. They turned it around a bit. We rocked up there. I thought we were going to get tonked 4-0, beaten 2-1. Still not entirely sure how we did it. We got absolutely battered for most of the game. And then Jackson Ike played a lovely ball to Corey Anderson, and the rest is history. But it's one of those games, isn't it? That if you're going to do it, you're just going to have to go and grind out some sort of smash and grab, I think. Do you see it as a possibility going up there? They're a bit streaky, but they're on a good streak at the moment.
Yeah, it's like, I love that you reference the second half of last season, because I don't know how we did most of those games. I have no idea how we got out of League One, and then even at the start of this year, it was like we were having wins, and I was like, how are we actually doing this? And so Middlesbrough, as much as it seems quite insurmountable, we look at it and we go, yeah, we're going to get battered 4-0 like QPR did, or worse. Maybe there is something in it, as Jupiter says, and as people tell me, it's like, we could do it.
Is it Ipswich 2.0?
We could get something. Yeah, exactly. Could we just turn something on and counter, and we trust in our Lord and Saviour Nathan Jones to bring us some masterclass, and maybe we can play hard enough to get something there.
He would think it's sacrilegious for you to call him Jesus. He's got a big Jesus tattoo on his back. So
has he actually?
Yeah, it's a back-sized tattoo of Jesus, and he's got a cross on his arm. Yeah,
that's quite impressive. Talking of Nathan
Christian.
Jones,
Oh, no.
is he? That's impressive. Yeah. Well, it's a very Christian thing to swear, and
no.
Just really quickly, I'll keep this to a minimum. Nathan Jones broke his record. So did Danny Hilton at the last game. Nathan Jones swore 173 times, and I heard at least 42 C words. And
that's rookie numbers, Nathan. Come on, you've got to be at least two a minute. Come on, mate.
Honestly. And then Danny Hilton swore 92 times, and I heard 13 C words. So did Curtis Fleming. Curtis Fleming got threatened with a red card last game. But yeah, Middlesbrough.
Shall we? You can see why Danny Hilton, Curtis Fleming, and Nathan Jones get on, can't you? See why he's part of the coaching staff. Right? Shall we do a really quick score predictions? Very quick whip around. I'm going to go 1-1 because I don't know. I don't know why I'm going to go 1-0. Annoyingly, Luke Berry's not available. I would have picked Luke Berry for a 90th minute equaliser. I'm going to go 1-0. I'll go. Just because people find it irritating, I'm going to pick Tyrese Campbell to score again, just because people find it annoying. On a counter. Paul?
Yeah, you stole my thunder. I was going to have TC. I'll say 1-0. Dykes. Lyndon Dykes.
Paul B?
So I'm going to be negative here. I'm saying 2-0 Borough.
That's a big party pooper. Jupiter saying 2-1. I think it's 2-1 Charlton. James Bent's 1-0 Charlton. Matt says Hart says 0-0 draw. Head tells me 2-0 Borough. Tommy Hart says batten down the hatch for 0-0, but Head says keep to 2-0 will be a good result. I'm actually not disagreeing the idea that we need to just keep the goal difference. Jones will get all three of the odds are against him. That's the type of manager he is. Some people 1-0 Charlton, so people are trying. Some people are feeling positive. We'll end with your prediction, Kieran. What is he going to go with?
I'm gonna say, ever call me crazy, 2-1 to Charlton. I think, I reckon it goes 1-1 pretty early on. I think Lyndon Dykes scores he should score a goal. They equalise. It's 1-1 for most of the game, and then TC comes on fresh legs, 60th minute, say, straight impact, and then like 80th minute. Just scores an absolute screamer on the counter to put us ahead, and then everyone starts singing that we're staying up. And we're playing Tottenham next season.
Exactly.
Yeah, let's manifest it, Kieran. Love it. I'm with you.
I'm gonna sign off this podcast. Oh God, only military Manion to score.
Manion
Chester
to
fans.
As
I said
come
many
over and
times.
cover this.
I've said
And do a
many,
Mooney. Yeah.
to me specifically.
Oh, what is it with you and being naked?
Sorry. I forgot myself
Stop.
again. I'm not there. I'm not there Wednesday. You're right.
I'm gonna say, as I always say, 1-0 off the backside of Community. Give me 1-0 off the backside of Will Mannion. I do not care. I just want the points at this point. All I want to do at the end of the season is sign off here and say to everybody, and I'll see you at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium next season. And with that, I'll say good night. See you all on Thursday. Emma can confirm that. We'll see you all on Thursday for a recap.
Hilton brace. Up the hills.
Take care all.
UTFH.
Cheerio.